TV. Hope you're having a good one. What's good? What's good? What's good? So yeah, a lot happened. We're expecting a lot of numbers today, a lot of bank numbers, especially from BlackRock. BlackRock numbers did come out. I don't have them in front of me at the moment, but we can get into that a little bit later. What we do have is JP Morgan predicts continued institutional crypto investment in 2026 based off of outstanding inflows from last year. Just saying, 130 billion. Yeah, I think they're incentivized. I think that'll be all right. You're talking about, just things from regulatory reforms, ETFs, the birth of ETFs, that kind of thing. Digital asset trusts, despite reduced Bitcoin and Ethereum CME futures activity. That's because people are not worried about the futures. They're doing spot right now. That's the idea. Now, what else is going on? Robinhood CEO Vlad Tenev predicts AI could create 170 million jobs over the next little bit, citing an MIT and World Economic Forum research, or research by both of those bodies. Could they? My question to everybody is going to be maybe? Or my statement would be maybe. And the reason why I say so is because what do you mean by 170 million jobs? Are you talking about the jobs that are created because you need more data centers? Or is it because, what is going on with YouTube? Like, I'm looking right now, everything looks fine, but YouTube is just spinning. Let me refresh that page. Just bear with me for a moment. There you go. That's what I'm looking for. That's better. Couldn't see myself, so I had to go check that. Sorry for the delay. So, like I said, are you expecting those jobs to be from the 170 million, or are you expecting those 170 million jobs to stem from, construction of facilities? I don't know that AI is going to create jobs as much as AI might enhance jobs. Good morning, Mr. Big. Don't forget to invest in yourself today, which I seriously doubt that you invest. Yo, what is going on with YouTube? So, might as well get into it now. Mr. Big, can you still see me? Because I can't tell what's going on. Apparently, Verizon had internet problems, which hurt a lot of companies that are out there. So if you realize SUI was down for like 6 hours yesterday, and I don't think it was because of SUI. And nobody's saying what the actual issue is. Not yet. So I'm curious because right now I'm streaming just fine, and I'm just wondering if the stream, at the end game, at the end point, is having a problem. Thank you for that, because I can't tell now. I cannot tell. YouTube coming back to me is actually having issues, but like you said, I'm not going to worry about that. Let's get the show on the road. So what else do we have? So yeah, I just want to know what's going on with AI jobs, because like I said, I don't know that they're going to stem from new jobs being created as much as you'll enhance current jobs. Some of those jobs might be from construction. I would like to know what the breakdown is of the kind of jobs that they think they're going to create. U.S. Senate Banking Committee postponed a crypto market structure bill. That's right. They postponed the Clarity Act, citing disputes over stablecoin rewards and ethics restrictions, with industry leaders calling it a moment of recalibration. Brian Armstrong was like, yeah, nah, I'm not with this. He said Coinbase is not with this. I would have to say, I'd have to wonder, like, is the crypto industry getting what it paid for? How's that for a question? And I think there are a lot of politicians that are starting to pull back on the idea of not being able to participate, or being unable to participate in certain things. So that's going to be a very big deal. I think an example of, people that don't do a good job, Eric Adams. So I don't know what your definition of a rug pull is, but when a coin comes out and it's riding at one level and then all of a sudden it tanks 80%, and there's a wallet that's in question, yeah, that's the epitome of a rug pull. I'm not saying it is a rug pull. I'm just saying it epitomizes a rug pull. So I'm just saying, at some point, somebody's got to sit there and say to themselves, yeah, not so sure. And I find it, precarious. I think Eric Adams once again has put himself in a precarious position, and he doesn't know what's going on. Just saying. I look at the situation and I'm just like, what is wrong with you, dude? This is all on you. You did it to yourself. I wouldn't touch anything that guy's involved in. Nothing. Because how do you continuously put yourself in these kinds of situations? So NYC token, yeah, I won't be partaking in that at all. And then it could be somebody stolen. You stole the idea from somebody else. At least according to Edward Cullen, you stole his idea. Yeah, I'm not feeling it. Yeah, I didn't. You know what? Clearly, we can just ditch you. That's right, Mr. Big. That's why you have to do your own research. Shill a coin. That's the first time I've been accused of shilling a coin. That's very interesting. You should go take a look at previous videos. But you can do that on your own time since, we're just going to oust you from the group. There you go. We'll see you later, sunshine. What else do we have? China plans to restrict or has restricted domestic companies from buying the H200 chips from NVIDIA. That's actually a very big deal because if you notice, there was a kind of quieting down of everything, and there was a deal between the United States and China that those chips would be okay. But China had said a week ago that they're not going to allow it. So now it's, well, we'll kind of allow it if it's absolutely necessary. I think both sides of this argument have issues. If one wallet has that many coins, stay away. Mr. Biggs, I got to tell you, it's not that difficult. Do you know what I mean? It's not that tough to see it. It's not that tough at all. Not that tough at all. I mean, you got a couple of wallets, and between a couple of wallets, they're holding all of it. Yeah, you don't touch that. You don't touch that. Do your own research. Know your entries and exits, and absolutely invest deliberately. What else do we have going on? The Maldives aims to issue digital IDs to about 530,000 citizens by the end of 2026, with 272,000 enrolled. That's 80% of the eligible population. That's amazing. I mean, I'm not down with digital IDs, I'll tell you that. I'm not down with that idea. TSMC reported a 35% profit increase in Q4 2025. That is huge. 35% jump. That's no joke. That is no joke. My man, Eli, thank you for letting us know you were investing yourself today. I'm actually shocked that Mr. Biggs is up because this is not his ideal time to be awake. DeFi protocols like Morpho transition public Discord servers to read-only mode amid phishing attacks, highlighting security concerns despite debates over community engagement. I've been saying it for a long time. Why are so many of these projects on Discord and Discord is being hacked all the time? I don't know. Or let me rephrase. The technology gets hacked a lot. Right? Because you can run your own Discord server. I'm just wondering, how do you... I'm amazed all the time. Allegedly, Solana shared misleading data about Starknet's, FDV, citing outdated $15 billion figures instead of the current 900 million, underscoring risks of relying on speculative metrics. For all those people that came at me because I don't trust Solana, there you go. I'm just saying. At some point, you've got to stop and think about that. Yo, Mr. Manisi, how are you? Thank you for letting us know you invested in yourself. So I look at Solana, and I've said before, I do not trust Solana. And you know what really gets me? And they did it earlier this week. I just didn't report on it. I think I heard about it on Monday. So apparently, one of the head honchos at Solana was going after Ethereum again. And what I've noticed is every time they go after Ethereum, people like Vitalik Buterin don't say jack. They don't say anything. They kind of just let you wallow in your own mess. And then you come out with something like this, and it's like you're reporting 15 billion, but when you really have only 900 million, there should be zero wonder why I don't trust Solana. I just don't. There should be zero wonder. Now, I point out all the time, there is money to be made. If you play Solana properly, there's money to be made. But if I was building something, there's no way in the world. That was my last story. That was going to be my last story this morning, Mr. Big. Because that's a big conversation. Give me a minute. I just cannot. I don't understand how you could possibly trust Solana. I just don't. From an implementation perspective, I just don't see it. I just do not see it. So do your own research, know your entries and exits, and absolutely invest deliberately. This right here should be a wake-up call to a lot of people. A lot of people. Swissborg integrated Base into its meta exchange, enabling cross-chain trading of Base native tokens via Uniswap, PancakeSwap, and Aerodrome with a unified interface. Swissborg is not small. That's actually kind of a big deal. So again, do your own research on that. That's very interesting to me. Making it easier to get into decentralized exchanges, yeah, that's a very interesting move to me. Just go take a look at that. The NCAA requested the CFTC suspend college sports prediction markets, citing $320 million in volume and risks like underage participation and athlete coercion. Yeah, absolutely. So when it came to name, image, and likeness, NIL, I didn't agree with NCAA. I think that those kids, I'm sorry, let me rephrase. I apologize. Those young adults deserve to get paid. They deserve to make money off their name. So when it came to that, I didn't agree with the NCAA. But when it comes to predictive markets in NCAA, yeah, I think that's ridiculously dangerous. I think that it presents more of a gambling issue than anything else you could possibly think of. Why, Eddie? Why would you think that? The reason why is exactly what they said. Athlete coercion, underage participation, because it's all wrapped in a nice, pretty little bow. Oh, there's nothing wrong with predictive markets. Oh, there's no big deal. It's not even gambling. No, yes, the hell it is gambling. And I wish they'd stop saying they're predictive markets. They're bets. They're just places where you can place bets on really crazy things and not just outcomes of games. Is the gamification of gambling, and that's a problem. Gambling in and of itself is a game, a dangerous one. It's still a game. And predictive markets take it to the next level. Just saying, it's dangerous. I'm not saying they shouldn't exist. I'm just saying that slapping lipstick on a pig is not the smartest thing to do. I don't think that calling something a pretty name in this case is a good thing. Cloud computing. Cloud computing is freaking web hosting. I don't care what anybody tells you. It's web hosting with a new name. New lipstick. Doesn't look pretty? This is what makes it dangerous. Because these kids are thinking, oh, it's no big deal. Ha 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 ha, look what they're betting on. Yeah, I'm going to bet on that because it's funny. Wow, something just hit me. It's like meme coins, isn't it? They serve no purpose. I'm looking at predictive networks and I'm thinking they're incredibly dangerous. And like I said, I'm not saying they should go away, but I'm saying we should put more realistic guardrails on them. There should be more realistic guardrails on them. I mean, think about how far they stretch. From voting on politics to the color of whatever water to how many times somebody says a word to sports gambling. It's dangerous. It's dangerous, to say the least. It's dangerous. Just saying. I think one of the issues I have is that so many people are reactive. They're reactive to certain things. So they're going to react when things go awry. When you look at younger generations and they have serious gambling problems and they move on from here to real gambling, you'll see why. It's the gamification of everything. It's the numbing of the senses. Mark my words. I don't think it's going to be a good thing. It's not going to be a good thing. Anyway, you know what we should do? That's right. We should get into the numbers. Let me just fix a couple of things. There you go. Pull this, push that, switch over, get my notes out of the way. Dow futures implied open 64 points up. S&P futures implied open 26.75 points up. NASDAQ futures implied open 217.25, or I'm sorry, now 218.25 points up. Oil down 2.30 below $60. US 10-year up 0.008. I don't know what you mean by you're waiting for a response. You missed it. They're up. And I don't think it was just SUI. Hutanik was hinting at that last night. You might have missed it. And I was talking about it earlier this morning. Verizon had a problem that affected a wide array of businesses. So I don't know that it was a SUI problem. Because Hutanik was like, well, I don't think SUI was the only one that was affected. But at the time of the show last night, there wasn't enough news. When I woke up this morning, people were talking about a Verizon outage, and I will say something else. It's not just Verizon. Verizon had gone down. Like if you just look over the recent times, Verizon, Cloudflare, AWS. We're talking about major networks that don't have those kinds of outages, having those kinds of outages. Now, it could all just be a coincidence, or it could be something else. Doesn't smell good to me. Does not smell good to me. But back to the numbers. So you're looking at the market having an upside. Why is NASDAQ up? NASDAQ is up because TSMC had a 35%, revenue up. 35% up. Wow. And they make everybody's chips. Now that will negate the news that China's not going to be buying that many H200 chips. The United States is not going to be making that $200 or 25%. Sorry. What was I thinking? $200, making that 25%. There's another controversy brewing that the United States sold some Venezuelan oil, and now that money from the sale is sitting in a Qatari bank, and it's only controlled by the current regime. So that's a problem. There are a lot of things out there that are meant to not have you pay attention. That's scary. That's scary. Looking at the what's coming in today, I don't know why that was down. What the heck? No. Countries, U.S. That doesn't seem right. This is weird. Give me a moment. Let me see if I can bring up what we're supposed to be looking at. They changed it. Wow. That's That's interesting. This is not the normal interface that we would normally see. So we're just gonna skip it today. Sorry, guys. I was gonna show you, who's actually earning today, but they changed what shows up when I hit that link, so I'll have to find it and bring it to you later or tomorrow. Good morning, trader. We already spoke about that. There you go. Now, today is Thursday. What do we get in the initial jobless claims? U.S. import prices. Remember, PPI was down yesterday. Empire Manufacturing Survey, Philadelphia Fed's Manufacturing Survey, the Atlanta Fed President speaking, Raphael Bostic. I like hearing what these people have to say, and you have a lot of people speaking. Raphael Bostic, Michael Barr, Tom Barkin, Jeff Schmid. You want to understand what these people are thinking the same way we got news yesterday about how Neil Kashkari is thinking. I want to hear what everybody else is thinking. It helps me stay, on point with these guys. People, sorry, because there are women. They're both sexes. Fear and Greed Index is at 61 right now. That's kind of a big deal if you're paying attention to things. So for me, yeah, definitely paying attention. We're deep into greed right now. I mean, we went from 48 yesterday to 61. Just before that, we were at 26. We went from 26 to 48 to 61. Just saying. Just pay attention to these things. What else do we have? DeFi Llama, $129.749 billion in total value locked. Not bad. Not bad. But you know me, I like to be above 150. What else do we have? Looking at Bitcoin right here in a big chart. Yes, currently we're in between. We're at that pink band that I like to be at right there, right? From 93,434 to 99,655. That's the sweet spot if we actually want to get to above 100,000. We need to exist here for a little while. We need to make sure that we establish ourselves. It's sort of like when you change lanes. That's exactly what this is. When you change lanes, you want to establish your lane before you make another move. So we're in here deeply compared to this bump, compared to each time that 93,455 or 434 rather was playing resistance. Now it's playing floor. But we have to maintain. We have to maintain in this space, which means we need to keep up with that retail participation, which is what we're seeing. That's what we need to be looking for. Looking at the big board, you can still see that there's a lot that you can get involved in. Remember, everything's down. Everything's down in a big way. So even though you might see green, everything's down. Mr. Big, have a good one, bud. Then you've got, like I said, looking at the big board, you're seeing, Bitcoin up year to date. The year is only 15 days in. Year to date, 10.37. Year to date for Ethereum, 12.87. That's right. Ethereum's been outpacing Bitcoin for a minute now. Ethereum's up 14. Solana's up 16, except I think Solana's going to take it on the chin a little bit. BNB is up. Don't sleep on BNB. I would not sleep on BNB at all. BNB right now, look at XRP and look at BNB. They're both neck and neck. Do I think that? I mean, they're both really strong platforms. That's why I'm paying attention to that. What else do we have? GMB Crypto Tracker. I just want to see what kind of losers we have. Never heard of that one. Farcoin down 8.69. GMB X Factor 5.46. Pepe down 8.5. GMB X Factor 3.70. Midnight down 7.47. GMB X Factor 0.87. Dog with Hat down 6.32 with a GMB X Factor of 11.31. Not going to talk about that one because I hate it. Render down 5.25 with a GMB X Factor of 5.04. Bonk down 5.04 with a GMB X Factor of 4.45. Everybody else is just moving sideways. Let's take a look at the winners. You have Decred, privacy coin, up 29.766, GMB X Factor of 8.02. Let's see. Dash up 9%, GMB X Factor of 7.34. Zcash up 6.21, GMB X Factor of 6.25. Who else do we have? Bitcoin Cash, BCH, one of my favorites, but moving sideways. It's below my 5% rule. Like I said, the rest of them are moving sideways. Just pay attention to what's going on out there, and you can do well. Again, do your own research, know your entries and exits, and absolutely invest deliberately. That's the GMB 3. Practice that on a daily basis. Knowledge is power, and your first investment is in yourself, because we're going to have to invest in order to survive. That's serious. Everybody, this is Eddie J on crypto for growmybag.tv. I hope you like what I'm doing. If you do me a favor, smash the likes. Tell your friends about this community, because it's the only one that actually gives a damn about your knowledge in investing. As always, thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience. And absolutely, thank you for your trust. Everybody have a great day. See you tonight on The Overflow at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have a good one. Bye-bye.